Army's crying. Jungkook holds Taehyung with a nosebleed on the plane. What really happened? Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today's story is one that has armies everywhere holding their breath. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and buckle in, because tonight's story will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about life on the road for these global icons. It all started like any other flight for BTS. They were leaving after a whirlwind of schedules, fan meets, studio sessions, and a performance that had set social media on fire just hours before. For anyone who's followed BTS long enough, you know these guys are used to chaos. Airports become arenas, with hundreds of cameras flashing. Staff rush them through hidden entrances. By the time they board a flight, they're finally away from the endless sea of eyes, or so it seems. That night, according to whispers from insiders and a few startled passengers, Taehyung had seemed quieter than usual. He leaned against the window, his head slightly tilted, headphones in, the faint glow of the city lights below reflecting in his tired eyes. Jungkook, ever the watchful younger brother, had glanced over more than once, sensing something was off. After all, BTS has shared everything together: victories, breakdowns, the weight of fame, and those instincts never really turn off. Then, it happened. The plane was cutting through a patch of mild turbulence when a soft thud was heard. One of the staff rushed down the aisle and froze. Taehyung was slumped slightly forward, his hand to his face. A dark streak glistened beneath his nose. Jungkook, startled, unbuckled immediately, moving with a speed that only comes from panic and instinct. He caught Taehyung by the shoulder before he could slide further down, his voice breaking through the soft hum of the engines. Hyung, are you okay? Imagine being on that flight, unaware that history was quietly unfolding a few rows away. One of the most beloved idols in the world, bleeding mid-flight, his younger brother figure desperately holding him, calling his name, while staff scrambled for tissues and water. To the average passenger, it might have looked like a faint medical scare. But for armies, the news that trickled online later would feel like a gut punch. Nosebleeds can seem harmless at first glance, but the context changes everything. We've seen it in films and literature for decades. An unexpected nosebleed is a symbol, a warning, a fragile reminder that even the strongest can falter. And for Taehyung, who has been pushing himself with music, fashion, solo schedules, and appearances, it was as if his body chose that moment to say, enough. The cabin staff quickly helped him tilt his head forward slightly, dabbing carefully, while Jungkook refused to let go of his shoulder. Witnesses would later describe his expression as a mix of fear and focus, the kind you see when someone you love slips into danger and you're helpless to fix it immediately. It's a side of Jungkook that fans have always known existed, the fiercely protective magne, who despite his youth, has often felt like the group's unspoken guardian. The emotional weight of that moment only deepens when you consider how private BTS has always been about their health struggles. For years, we've seen hints, cancelled appearances, cryptic posts, quiet hospital visits, but rarely do we witness raw vulnerability in real time. And yet, here, above the clouds, with nothing but miles of air beneath them, reality intruded in the most jarring way. As Taehyung was slowly guided to recline and rest, Jungkook reportedly stayed by his side long after the immediate scare passed. He didn't return to his seat, didn't put his headphones back in. His gaze, witnesses said, remained fixed on V, as if sheer willpower could prevent anything worse from happening. But what caused it? Here's where the mystery deepens. Nosebleeds on flights can happen for a variety of reasons: sudden changes in air pressure, extreme fatigue, dehydration, or even stress. Medical experts note that the dry cabin air at high altitude can trigger minor bleeds for anyone with a weakened system or lack of rest. But in the high-stakes, high-pressure world of global stardom, these minor incidents take on a haunting weight. What happens when the body says no, but the world keeps demanding yes? And the world was indeed demanding. BTS has been navigating a chapter in their careers where individual schedules are relentless. Jungkook's solo appearances, Taehyung's filming commitments, and the ever-looming eyes of the public create a reality where personal health sometimes takes a backseat to expectation. That night on the plane became a living metaphor for the cost of that reality. Meanwhile, armies on social media began piecing together the story hours later, after landing. Cryptic fan accounts whispered of an incident in the air. Photos surfaced, not invasive, but enough to show a concerned Jungkook leaning close to Taehyung, his expression a blend of fear and fierce protectiveness. Comments flooded timelines. Are they okay? Taehyung, please rest. Jungkook is always there for him. Little did anyone know, this was just the beginning of a series of moments that would leave fans holding their breath, because what happened next would raise even more questions about BTS's grueling lives and the hidden stories behind their smiles. When the plane finally touched down, the city lights below had long since turned into a blur of gold and silver. Passengers began to stir, unaware that for one section of the aircraft, the night had been a silent emotional roller coaster. Jungkook's arm was still draped protectively near Taehyung, his posture tense, as if one wrong move could shatter the fragile calm that had settled over them. As the cabin doors opened, staff discreetly guided the members off first. Witnesses recall seeing Taehyung walking slowly, his mask pulled slightly higher, Jungkook shadowing his every step. To the untrained eye, it might have looked like a typical private exit for a celebrity. But for those who knew, there was a quiet gravity in the way Jungkook's hand hovered near his Hyung's back, ready to catch him if needed. The airport's fluorescent lights were harsh compared to the soft cabin glow they had just left behind. Every camera waiting outside would have captured nothing but perfection, BTS walking calmly, masks on, as if nothing unusual had happened. But behind those masks, a quiet storm brewed. Later that night, rumors began to swirl online. Small snippets from passengers, nothing invasive, but enough to hint that something had gone wrong mid-flight, spread like wildfire. Fan accounts claimed staff had been unusually attentive to V, while others noticed Jungkook's constant vigil beside him. So the next time you see BTS on stage, smiling, dancing, giving everything they have to the world, remember this moment. Remember the trembling hand, the silent worry, and the unspoken promise between brothers to hold each other up, no matter what. And maybe, just maybe, we can all learn something from that, about love, about rest, and about never taking our heroes' humanity for granted. Because for one quiet night in the clouds, the world's biggest boy band reminded us of the simplest truth, even in their most vulnerable moments, BTS's love for each other, and for ARMY, is what keeps them soaring.